Chuck Todd and George Stephanopoulos kind of gave it to Donald Trump's spokespeople. I guess better late than never. Check this out.
And there is this theory, Chuck, that the Democrats would prefer to see the economy go into the tank for another 90 days because that harms the president. I hope that Capitol Hill hasn't become that cynical. But watching these negotiations, it makes me wonder, because we've been willing to bend.
I think the cynicism is a two-way street. I take your point.
He's willing to bend.
Well, I think he has a reputation of killing more deals than he does of solving them.
That's not fair.
Let me move to
because the Democrats rejected various compromises, at least twice, to my knowledge. The president felt he had to take action, and it will be timely action, and it will be temporary action, to be sure, probably mostly out to the end of this year. But let's help those who still need help.
But Larry, in fact, the president doesn't extend
great progress, but we had to take action.
In fact, the president doesn't extend the federal eviction moratorium. I looked at the executive order. It doesn't do that. It simply directs HUD to find a way to help people and identify federal funds. It doesn't include extending the eviction moratorium.
Well, look, that's not entirely true. I mean, in there...
Well, it is true.
I don't want to get overly political, but for heaven's sakes, the president said yesterday correctly, 1/3 of the Democratic proposals had absolutely nothing to do with COVID. I mean, it's a really a very liberal left Democratic wish list that had nothing to do with COVID. If they had removed that stuff, we probably would have better grounds on which to negotiate.
Well, Larry, as you know, we could go back and forth on that. Democrats have complained, for example, that the president wanted to put funds for building an FBI building in downtown Washington in a way that some critics said would help his hotel.
The president's gone ahead and done it himself. I think he's going to help a lot of people. That plus the payroll tax and some other things.
Well, on the payroll tax deferral, again, it's not a tax cut, it's a tax deferral. Senator Schumer says that he's talked to a lot of employers who say they simply will continue to withhold the money because they don't want to be on the hook for it later on. It's also not going to do anything for people unemployed right now. It can only help those who actually have jobs. And finally, even some Republicans are weighing in. Senator Ben Sass says it's unconstitutional slop. President doesn't have the power to unilaterally rewrite the payroll tax law.
Maybe we're going to go to court on them. We're going to go ahead with our actions anyway.
In other words, who cares? We're going to do it anyway. Of course, they can't really do it, right? But anyhow, it is wonderful to see once and for all, for every point that he attempted to lie for the president or put out something that wasn't correct, Stephanopoulos was on his butt. I tell you what, just think if we were doing this all of the times to all of these politicians and specifically to President Trump. Americans would be better informed and would have been able to make better choices. The media matters, and that's why we have to stick with independent media as well, because I tell you, we have to not do this when things really get out of hand. We have to do these things before things get out of hand, and that means making sure the American people know the material at the appropriate times. I'm Egberto Willies, host of Politics Done Right, an independent news program. I post several news videos of interest every day. I ask you so kindly to subscribe to my channel, and please leave me some comments. Thank you very much.